Hey everyone, morning, it's us again. We're here just to have a quick chat to you about a couple of questions that have been posed to us, and mostly it's about our experience as a family of seven during the pandemic, which is understandable, and I guess really through that lockdown period. So I think the first thing to say is, on one side, we feel very fortunate that we weren't, we didn't suffer any of the real tragedies of the pandemic that many families around the world have had to deal with. So on that side, we were very fortunate and we realised that. On the other side, it was challenging for us. It was a difficult time for all of us. We were not the perfect bread making, you learn a new language, new skill, sort of environment that some people were fortunate to experience, or maybe were betraying that, I don't know, but it certainly wasn't our experience. It was tough. We had a business to save, we had homeschooling, we had a great deal to deal with. So I guess we're here this morning to just, be real and tell you our real story. So let's get into it. Who's kicking off here?
Okay. How was lockdown for you?
So how was lockdown for me? I get asked this so often, and I have learned, actually, to be honest. I used to do the obligatory, yeah, fine, thanks. But in reality, I did find it hard. I had no time. I found it frustrating. To put you in the picture, homeschooling for me was rubbish. Very fortunate that you guys were extremely well supported by your schools, otherwise I don't know where you guys would have been. And I can feel for all those families that didn't have the support of the schools that you had. But one day when I was going a little bit batty about it all, to try and make myself feel better, I did the math, and it was a 7-hour school day, bookended by 3 hours of childcare before and after that, given that these little monkeys are up at 5 a.m. Topped off with 2 to 3 hours at the kitchen table, working on the business in any way, shape or form that I could do to try and help. So it was exhausting and it was challenging, and I learned a lot about myself. Being in such a unique situation without any help, and having all of that to manage. Perhaps backpedaling a little bit to put you all in the picture even more is we unexpectedly found ourselves separated because when lockdown law announced, we'd gone to the farm early given that the schools had closed. So we thought that we might just sneak in a little bit of extra Easter holiday and went up to the countryside early to then go into lockdown with Daddy down in London. So so it was quite an intense time to be separated and to find ourselves on quite divergent paths. Yeah. That's it.
Daddy, what was the biggest challenge business-wise for you over lockdown?
Well, I guess the biggest challenge, I think, was probably a similar one faced by many other small businesses out there, in our sector anyway, in the health and fitness sector. And that was just trying to transform an in-person business overnight, really, wasn't it? That first weekend to an online offering. And we had to do that on multiple platforms. We had to try and figure out, okay, how does online physiotherapy work? We needed to move all of our classes onto online, which a lot of other businesses were doing as well, or talking about. And we had to move the whole education business online. And we'd started that transition a little bit, I guess, if I'm honest. I'd say, okay, maybe we were a little bit lucky to be ahead of the game a bit, because as travel restrictions came in before the big lockdown, we had to adapt the education to live stream a little bit more. But it was that transition to moving online, multiple platforms, different offerings, trying to take care of our staff and the team, trying to help them, support them, answer their questions when I didn't have the answers to all of those questions, and then I guess on the institute side, sort of being that figurehead as the people asking us questions that we're still trying to find out the answers to ourselves. So that was challenging on the business side for sure. The biggest challenge I think for us overall was the fact that we were separated, and we've done everything together for so many or got 20 years on the business side, and then trying to do that, trying to think of what to do, not necessarily having the one person that you normally ask those questions to, because you were dealing with all of this, as you can see. Like this was our life through lockdown. So thank you. I would like to say this is a microphone, but it's not. So I think I'm going to finish. One of you guys can take over.
Yeah.
Okay, boys, come here for a second.
I think I just want to say actually that I think we were very lucky in terms of running our business, being a husband and wife duo, and I don't think I really say that often. People ask me, how is it working with your husband? And in the past it's been fine, you know, it's been great. But actually during lockdown it was totally necessary. If I hadn't had Glenn able to take over the reins pretty much 100% while I was you know, homeschooling and looking after U5 children, I dare say we wouldn't have a clinic anymore. So I have enormous respect for all of those female founders of ours out there. We've got so many physios and Pilates instructors who have over the years branched out, been brave and opened up their own physio and Pilates clinic as a female founder, and I just think the challenges for them must have been immense. So hats off to you all, because I think that you're brilliant.
Ollie, what's been your memories of Daddy and work over lockdown?
Well, I didn't really see him very much. So we were about 3 days for about in a week for 6 months.
2 days.
Days all night. Yeah. And it's very special to me when Daddy came up.
Thanks, buddy. It was tough living different lives. It was really tough. What was cool, if we think about it though, boys, was as it started to finish up and ease up, and Xavier, you first of all came down, got back to school, so Xavier and I got to hang out down here in London, just the two of us for a while. And
And then I came down, and then I think I came down on Friday, I think it was Friday, and then next Thursday they introduced me to something called Burger Night, and it's where basically don't eat anything all day. We will go outside on the deck and make all the couches and the chairs there, and into kind of cinema and then watch a movie with big burgers, and it was quite fun.
Thanks,
yeah,
oh, that's a nice memory.
Big burgers, weren't they, Xavier?
Double stuck.
Yeah. What were they? The M&S.
No beef burgers.
No beef burgers, veggie burgers, double. Okay. Pineapple, avocado, the works. I'm sorry, excuse me a minute. That was good fun. Don't someone have another question? Excuse me.
Would you...
Yeah, but not cleaning, Daddy.
Xavier, what was your memories of mummy and work over lockdown?
So I remember that you were doing a lot of homeschooling with Ollie, and trying to deal with our computer glitches as well, which happened very often. And then you'd have to cook the dinner, cook the lunch, and then obviously have about 2 or 3 different meal times. You know, the twins, me and Jazzy, sometimes Ollie, and then yourself, however you hardly ever ate. And then having to do work until some very late hour in the evening.
Yeah, no, it was an intense time. We certainly, however, did manage to evolve a lot, and the business has changed. And would you say that the business has changed forever?
Yeah, I do. I do believe the business and businesses have changed forever. I think physiotherapy, in-clinic physiotherapy is strong, will continue to be strong. Reformer classes, we've seen great uptake of people coming back on the machines. I think people miss the machines a lot during lockdown. But mat classes, you know, I'm not sure. A lot moved to online, a lot on Zoom, a lot on different platforms that people can access. So I'm not sure what that's part of the business looks like moving forwards. And then, I mean, as you guys have experienced, right, education has changed, that's for sure. We've seen that on the education side of the business. Live streaming, online, really popular, really great medium. I'm actually really positive about that aspect of what it might mean for our ability to educate people all over the world moving forward. But yes, it has changed. You know, the head office side, for example, you know, very remote working is the norm now. People coming into an office, you know, I don't know what that looks like, to be honest. And I guess for us, being a smaller business, maybe that was one positive, that we were able to adapt so quickly and move so quickly, look after as many people as we could, try to do the right thing by as many people as we could.
It's funny, I used to look at the big, larger corporate retailers and the larger sort of, you know, many multi-site clinics and businesses, and sometimes wish at times we were bigger, but actually lockdowns taught me that small is best. You're more nimble, you're more able to pivot and respond quickly, and that was affirmed to me the other day when talking to a friend about how slowly her monster of a gym chain, how slowly they reacted in launching their online classes right at the end of lockdown.
That's one thing I'm proud of. We did that within 2 days.
I think
we had an offering within 2 days.
I think the small business sector has been phenomenal, and it's, I like shouting about it because I don't feel that it is shouted about enough. People's lives are being turned upside down, and people have they've just marched on and they've just made it work because it is your livelihood, you know. So that's been wonderful to see. Actually, that's been a real inspiration for us all.
Yeah, and I guess we should just give a shout out to everyone else who's been through our story as well, because you guys have done so amazingly well. And we've been fortunate to hear a lot of stories of what you guys have done, and just admired other businesses as well. And honestly, as small business owners and family-run small businesses, it's been enormous what everyone has done and got through, and those that are thriving now and are continuing to face challenges alike. You know, big shout out to you all, because it's been a time like I've never known, or hope that we don't have to go through this again.
Yeah, and I'm sure that a lot of our story resonates with most of you who found yourselves in the same situation and very similar situations. So I hope us talking about it today has just provided you with a little bit of an insight, a little bit of maybe reassurance that no one's doing anything neatly, nothing is tidy. And maybe we should wrap it up before it goes completely.